Yep. Okay. Am I recording? Yep.
You are.
Right. What myths do you think would you most like to shatter that there are around Radiohead?
There's one apparently about me.
And once the plane's gone. Sorry.
There's one myth about me being an angry young man with no cause to be angry, whatever that means. Sulky little git. I am a sulky little git whenever the press are around because I hate the press. So I think that's fair enough. Therefore, the myth is reinforced, you know. But that's their problem.
Sorry.
You're gonna have to shut that door.
You have to shut that door.
But I don't think it'll make any difference either.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't mind them, you know. They're all right. It's like school bullies, aren't they? Really. They decide on something and that's it.
Right.
It's one very good reason to leave Britain, I think.
Leave Britain. Did you say? Sorry, I was just. So do you find? I mean, do you think your music is particularly British though? I mean, to what extent is it about coming from here and the sort of references and stuff that you must have grown up with that American kids say don't?
I wonder what Johnny said to that.
This isn't. It's not.
No, it's alright. I think.
I'm just getting really bad sound on this. This is.
Should we start from the top?
Let's start. No, okay. So I saw you just read that you described your album as flawed. First album as flawed. To what extent is the new one a reaction against these faults? In the first one, the flaws.
Oh, we were just really, really young when we did it. You know, really sort of hardly been playing as a band, never really been in a studio. Just got signed to a huge label, completely freaked out, and hadn't done the gigs, you know, basically.
Right.
So, which is a really unfashionable thing to say, but we'd like to be, you know, making records 5-10 years from now. Whether anyone buys them or not is now obviously they have to buy them, otherwise we can't make them.
Right. Fair enough. You've criticised compartmentalised pop. Don't you feel that the fact that you strive, the fact that you strive not to be compartmentalised is the reason why people in this country in the music press were so slow to pick up on you?
Maybe. Maybe because we're crap to begin with as well.
It's very honest.
Also, well, no, I don't think that anymore because I suppose, you know, they have to have something to write about, and if they don't have the language in which to write it and somewhere to put something, they can't write about it. I suppose it's the nature of the business, you know.
Right.
But I still don't understand why it has to happen. I don't understand why music can't be music, you know. Why it has to be all this other shit.
Yeah, I mean, we did Adrian Sherwood once, and he just said, music is lovely, and just the business is horrible.
It's not that horrible. It is horrible, but it's
quite cutthroat.
It's exactly the same as everything else. It's the same as every other business. It's just the people that work within it, the people that desperately want to get away from the fact that they have to deal with business. Make sense?
Yeah,
no, probably not.
I think that does make sense. Well, what I meant earlier about the philosophy, I mean, you were saying that you're complete control freaks. I mean, is there any sort of ideology or anything that's behind that control, that's sort of guiding it?
Yeah. The ideology really, there's a lot of stuff wrapped up in it that I'm realising now. A lot of stuff I have a problem with in terms of the media. I think it's sort of, and I mean the media in the sort of loosest sense of the term. I think half the reason we ended up calling ourselves Radiohead is because you see a lot of people who just receive everything. Everybody just receives information, and there's a huge gap between this receiving information and suddenly partaking in the creative process and being a creative person. And I've always thought that there shouldn't be any link. The two should just flow into each other, but they don't because of the way the media's set up. Is that they're on high, and you sort of, they condescend to tell you what's new and you should listen to, whereas I think the total opposite should be the case, where people should be exposed to as much as possible and then make their own choice, and then it get written about, and it'd be a cyclical process. I think the thing that kills popular culture is the fact that certain people with a lot of power or cash are able to tell other people what to go out and buy. You know, you can go in HMV and Our Price, and you're told what to buy. You don't have a choice. Like 10 years ago, you could go into a record shop, probably not HMV and Our Price, and go through the records, and go up to the counter and say, what's this one like? And they'll play you a track, whatever. You know, you can actually sort of have an active part in choosing your records. Nowadays, you don't get that. And we think that's complete bullshit. And I think, for some reason, that's what's been going through my head in the past 2 or 3 weeks. And I think actually that has quite a lot to do with what we're about. Because on the one hand, we just make music, but we don't just make music, because we've all been involved in other things. Like carry
on. Just clump the mic.
Oh, did I? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just got you bonked in the air. Carry on. No,
Colin worked in Our Price for a year, and Ed was sort of, when he was at college, he was doing loads of promotion and stuff like that, of bands and things. And I was DJing at college. I don't know. I just think it could be a lot better. I think that the reason that we keep going and we have a sort of real work ethic, as Ed would put it, about what we do. It's like we work our nuts off because we see so many bands who don't, and we think, why? You know, I don't understand. You know, you're given this amazing opportunity to share what you're doing, and people just sort of skin up and fall over and don't do anything. You know, which is fine sometimes, but we're almost the extreme opposite.
Right.
With the highly stressed executives, sort of, you know, in the board meeting, who've been up for 3 weeks drinking too much coffee, and then that's how we approach what we do, I think.
Right. Okay. That was a very good answer.
Took a while, didn't it?
Sorry. Well, no, because it was sort of covered quite a lot of the questions. I was going to ask you actually if you felt the press should, their job was to create or to observe and report, and you answered that off the top of your own bat. You've been looking at my questions, haven't you?
No.
What is it? To what extent is it therapy for you, actually, songwriting?
I think that certain things I put in songs because that's the only place I can put them. And then other things I put in songs and actually regret that I've done it because it's so personal that I can't actually look at it again straight in the eye. So I think actually sometimes it's too much like therapy. But everybody else tells me, no, it's great, wow, it's really upsetting. And I'm going, yeah, but it's me, yeah, you know.
Do you think that's one of the jobs of a rock star, so that other people can live out aspects of their lives through you?
I hope not. Maybe. No, because I think everyone who's creative is doing that anyway. I think maybe I've always kind of done it. I've always put certain things on the edge of my sleeve, sort of, for people to pick at, you know, because that's what I'm like. It wouldn't matter if I wasn't a creative person. I would still be doing that. It's just ever since I was a kid, that's kind of what I've been doing. Like when I was 5 or 6, I was making models out of Lego and exhibiting them on the front of the television for people to sort of say what they thought and say how wonderful they were and things like that. And I've kind of been doing it ever since, and I suppose I kind of need it now. And so I think songs are therapy in the sense that I've always had it to prop me up. So in a sense they're therapy, because I've lived with them. I've lived with the idea of being able to be creative and express myself. Without it, I'd be in a loony bin. Definitely.
Right. Do you have strange dreams?
I never remember my dreams, actually, ever, hardly, at all, unfortunately.
It's a shame.
Yeah, I know.
I was just quite, well, it's probably a shame for you. It's a big shame for me because I was quite curious. No, because I wondered. Because I was, like you're talking about cathartic. Well, I was sort of saying that this therapy writing. You can also say that sort of dreams as a sort of somewhere where these things are stored and go. Not articulating myself at all.
No. I mean, if I think probably if I was that in tune with my dreams, then I wouldn't write the way I write. If you sort of see what I mean. I kind of tend to use everyday objects and everyday things that happen rather than anything desperately cosmic.
Right.
Because it's the kind of the way I am. It doesn't mean that the emotions behind choosing these things are any less relevant. It's just I can't write about, green people in fluffy clouds and things, because A, it would sound ridiculous if I said it. Certain people could get away with it, and B, it wouldn't make any sense to me.
So, but I mean, that's what people like about your music, is it's actually appealing to them. You're saying it in a way that other people say, I relate to that. And
well, I think it's funny. I think maybe it's because it's it's to do with the fact that the songs that I write and the words that I use are quite commonplace, but the fact that I put them in a song is something people relate to. I think that's part of it. I've always just sort of used common things that you like, just picking up rubbish, picking up people's phrases and stuff off TV.
It's like a pop artist using photographs or something.
Yeah, it's like photo montage.
Yeah.
How pretentious? Yes, fairly.
Sorry, I did lead you on to that.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I mean, you're saying you've done the record cover. I mean, are you interested in visual arts and things?
Well, yeah, I did a degree in it.
Did you?
Yeah. Polytechnic Southwest. It was a combined course with Exeter University. I was doing English at Exeter University, and I was doing fine art, as they called it, at Poly Southwest.
By that, it wasn't fine art to you?
Well, no, I like the phrase fine art, because it's so ridiculous, But
I like the fact that it's spelled out FA.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What is it that pushes you to adopt the position of an outsider? I mean, is it that you've never fitted in?
No, it's because the people inside are jerks.
All right then, that's a good answer. If pop music can change the world, what change would you like to bring about?
Pop music can't change the world. Pop music changed the world as Live Aid, and Live Aid got taxed by the British government, so that didn't change anything, did it? Really? I think I have a real fucking problem with pop stars who think they can change the world with their music. It's a real 80s thing anyway. I mean, it never really happened until the 80s, and it was a lot of bands, a lot of artists with failing careers and failing back catalogues. Sorry, I'm really, really cynical about that. I just doing work for charity is fine, but things like Live Aid, there was not. The trouble with doing charity gigs, or doing this, why we're kind of hesitant about doing the charity gig we're doing today for a while, because I have a real problem with pop stars who do work for charity and say, here we are, we're going to change the world or whatever. And places like Rwanda, where there's a military government or whatever wiping out all these millions of people, and where did they get the arms from? They got them from the West. We sell these poor little countries all these armaments, make shitloads of money out of them. They blow each other away. Then we send them little bits of money to sort of feed the starving. And I've never once heard a pop star say, well, hang on, all we're doing is selling them arms so they can blow themselves away. Surely that's what I should be writing about, not, let's. I mean, obviously, someone's got to patch up the plasters, but every citizen of every Western country knows full well that if they had a responsible government, they'd do it anyway. They wouldn't be selling them arms, but they would be clothing. They'd be helping these. It's bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. It's all just putting little plasters over huge, great wounds, and that's why I hate it. And I think pop stars changing the world is just pop stars with a bad conscience and pure ignorance.
Right.
That's what I think.
Okay. I mean, are you kind of against sort of dogmas and
I would never get involved in politics because I don't believe in politics as something to get involved in. Politics should be about the individual, which is why I sort of scratched my head when REM was sort of making speeches at Clinton's inauguration and stuff. I thought, that makes no sense to me at all. Clinton ultimately is working within a set power structure and licking a certain set amount of arses in order to do so. I don't know. My politics are about the individual as a responsible citizen, and I think that, like, being a person in Britain and sending money to charity or getting involved in politics, it's all about sort of no one talks about anything to do with collective responsibility. That our government goes out and does all these fucking ridiculous things, and we are ultimately responsible. We can't say, oh well, it's politics. You can't sort of put politics in a corner and say, let's go talk about politics now, and then walk away again. It doesn't work like that. We're human beings. We don't work like that. But over the past sort of 50 years, the media has created this thing called politics, and the intellectual establishment, which, you walk there and you talk about politics, then you walk and you shut the door and you leave, and you carry on with your life, which doesn't make any sense to me. And it's... sorry, I'm talking crap. Sorry.
No, but that will edit up one, I think. But you don't... Alright, let's so you wouldn't write an overtly political song. They're all kind of political in terms of relationships, human relationships. That's what you're saying, basically.
Yes. Well done.
Yes. That's what I thought you were saying. Alright then, do you think, we were talking about the media earlier, do you think that, say, something like the 60s, or all these revivals that are coming at the moment, are to do with the fact that the media didn't overexpose things so much in the 60s, say? There's like a mob thing supposed to be happening, there's very few interviews with the Kinks, or the Beatles around that people get to see, and it's a lot more sort of mysterious, and people's imaginations can...
Yes, I'm sure the imagination thing, really comes into play. I think also, though, that well, I think it's really weird that people our age, like, who are in bands, everyone always refers to, this... You're constantly up against the 60s, and now the 70s, and the 80s. It's sort of... having to sort of... these again, you're bombarded by these things. You're not allowed to just say, well, we're a band in 1994 playing this music, and, okay, it might have this reference, or this reference, or this reference, but, everything has references. Why do we have to be Muds? Why do we have to be any of those things? But Woodstock was classic. The Woodstock 2 was a classic example of a generation being told the 60s were great. You loved the 60s. You weren't actually there, but now you're walking around in exactly the same clothes as your parents wore, listening to exactly the same albums. Don't you think that's a little bit sad? Just a little bit sad. I think it is, but I don't. But I think it's sad. I think it's a bit... I think it's, it's because... it's because people don't have as much money now. People our age don't have the spending power. The spending power is with the over 30s. And the over 30s are still in the 60s and 70s. That's the bottom line. People who've got the money are over 30. Therefore, our culture's fucked.
Yeah. Makes sense. Do you, hang on, I was going to come back on you on something you said about the, before you said money, what did you say just
Woodstock.
before? Yeah, you're talking about Woodstock, and I was going to, I've lost it, mate, I'll remember in a minute. Yeah, I mean, on your tours, are there kind of any sort of interesting kind of tour anecdotes, things that have happened? I mean, we interviewed Pavement the other week, and they used to have this bloke called Gary that managed to like run over 2 other members of the band and fall out of a plane, and it was taxiing along the runway or something, and took lots of acid and stuff. I just wondered, were there any interesting things that happened on with Radiohead that were like that while you were touring?
Well, not many people we know take acid, so.
Well, no, it didn't have to be. That was just one of the things
Yeah.
that happened to come up in the conversation. It wasn't like.
No, I know, but there are a few, but our anecdotes, I think they tend to be really, really boring. If we sat down, and, we'll get asked this a lot, and you can never really think of anything. I mean, there's kind of a million things, like every day that you're in the US is another anecdote. But to actually come up with an example,
Hey.
I mean.
Weird things happen when you travel anyway, don't they?
Well, yeah, every day, that's one of the best things about it, I think.
So you think you live a particularly rock and roll lifestyle then?
I don't think that. I think it exists for certain people still. They tend to be the people that are still dressing up in their parents' clothes and still taking acid and thinking it's really cool. And acid probably is fairly cool. I don't know, but I don't see why I have to take it to be part of it, or part of whatever this is. I don't want to be in Primal Scream anyway, they're crap.
I haven't gone through my questions in order, so hang on a second. Yes, that's what I was going to say about the Woodstock thing.
Shit.
Do you think that that what you're saying about clothes and music, do you think that it's actually they're sort of redundant as forms of expression?
No, not at all. No, no way. I mean, how could they possibly not be? It's just not possible. It's always been like that, I think, hasn't it?
Well, did I say legitimate forms of expression? But all right then. No, all right then. You've said no.
No, because, for a start, I think clothes always are, but I think that it's funny now because you walk down your high street and everything is recycled so fast now that it's like nowadays I just think, you can wear whatever. I think that's really good. I think it's much better now. I think that the clothes that people wear now are fucking great. I think people look brilliant. They've never looked as good as they do now. We don't
Do it better.
we don't have that many people wearing flares. We don't have I quite like flares actually, but why am I saying that? But every fashion has the ridiculous elements that you always go about afterwards. But it doesn't matter now because everyone's allowed to wear what they want now. I think that's really good. I think that also kind of reflects itself in music. Everyone can buy what they want now. It's just you're told to buy certain things, and it doesn't make any sense, because everything is just sort of at your hand now. Because everything is recycled so fast, it's just going into a hole, which I think is great. If people looked at it positively rather than thinking, oh my God, pop's dying, blah blah blah.
Right. Okay. How in touch do you think you are with your? Sorry, I didn't mean to dismiss that. But
No.
how in touch do you feel you are with your feminine side? Or I didn't ask John this one.
Sometimes I can be really, really aggressive though, but I can also be very feminine.
I mean, do you see, when I ask the question, do you see it as feminine being kind of the good and the nicer aspects of you, or do you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, I'm just interested.
No, yeah, definitely. My mum always wanted me to be a girl anyway, so unless she won't admit it.
What motivates you to write and perform? I mean, what is there anything particularly?
I don't know, actually. I really don't know. I really do have your batteries running out.
Right. Yeah, it's just about to.
I really do have.
Is there anything you want to say before the battery runs out? Because that's going to be it. Is there anything?
No.
No. Can you say hi? Can you do like a trailer for us?
Yeah.
For like this, I'm appearing on Deadeye Video Magazine. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Thom from Radiohead. I'm
Yeah.
appearing on Deadeye Video Magazine.
Hi, I'm Thom from Radiohead. I'm appearing on Deadeye Video Magazine.